So I'm having one of those rapid fire days where ultimately my good energy and my creative energy and all that fun stuff is just ever flowing. And so if you look at my uploads and what they're titled as of right now, a few of them were recorded and uploaded today. And I want to say that, like, ultimately I've recorded today, I want to say like 3 or 5 times. We'll say 3. I want to say it was 3. But anyways, it's now getting dark, and unfortunately my phone obviously can't capture enough light. But so anyways, I mentioned this in my last upload, but I want to say, or last recording, but probably I think a few uploads ago. Want to say it was titled vlog number 2 / announcements or something like that. So anywho, though, and again, I apologize that you can't exactly see me, but yeah. So I've had an idea swirling around in my head that I think if you get the right people together who still want to see this passion, this fan passion, so to speak, come to life. This I was watching a video and he called it a fantasy, so I don't know, maybe it is. I mean, it'll never be approved by Nintendo or the Pokemon Company or Game Freak or anything. You know, they'll never do this idea. We already know this, and if they were going to do this idea, they would have already. And I think, honestly, it's a profitable idea. I mean, they're already rehashing and remaking older games for the sake of updating and, you know, cashing in, I guess you could say, on nostalgia, which a lot of companies do these days. But in the Pokemon community, we do actually enjoy, you know, seeing our Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. You know, we enjoy seeing, you know, the older games with older graphics brought up to date and everything. So here's where I'm getting at. The all-in-one regions game, it's a, you know, debate, it's a conversation, you know, it's you know, something that a lot of fans talk about because, you know, as this one YouTuber said, which I'll be honest, I searched it, he was the first video I clicked on, and I saved it for later so that I can add it to my research, because I want to get into brainstorming this idea again on my own. And I'm going to start a discussion of how, as fans who have the capability of doing fan-made ROMs and know how to program and ultimately can make this this game a reality, which I'll be honest, I would love to actually make this game myself, although I don't think I have the skills and the time to acquire the skills due to how old I am despite how I look, and how long it would take to get this education and everything. Because sad to say, I had, and I'll talk about this more in a later video in depth, or at least in bullet point summary. But unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to finish high school. It was a privilege that was kind of taken away from me. Situations going on at home with my parents and everything, and ultimately I just wasn't able to finish, and it's been a rough life, so ultimately I've yet to be able to. So long and short of it is, I don't think that I would be able to get that diploma or GED at this point, go to school for programming, and be able to see this dream that I have passionately and thought very particularly and whatnot of how to execute this in the most practical, diverse, and how to make everyone happy type of way. Which again, maybe it's just, this is my opinion and my version of it, and everyone's going to have their own little tweaks to it because we're all fans and we all have the same passion. and everyone interprets things differently. So, are you going to hit me? No? Okay, good. So yeah, anyways though, I'm already 5 minutes in, and unfortunately there tends to be a lot of exposition, introduction type things to what I want to say. And as stated before, I want to try and keep my videos in around the 10-minute mark for the sake of my phone's limitations and not stress on it ending and cutting me off prematurely. So I have videos, crap, I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah, I've made videos in the past talking about how you would go about basically making the perfect all-in-one Pokemon region game. And there's a lot of points in the Pokemon community of how would you make the maps? How would you go about the level curve? Or, the level cap, it cuts off at 100. How would you go about, making it to where you have, 7 regions or something like that? How would you go about, making it to where that still works? And there's a handful of ideas that I've come up with on how to avoid these problems one way or another. And, maybe it's just a troubleshoot thing. You have to, see that, through, find out if it works, or at least make the, make the game one way, finalize it, make the final version with all of those things, and then make a slightly different version just to, run the statistics and the experiment to find out how well it would work. You don't know till you try. So ultimately, I am going to start uploading a bunch of archives, as I've said before, and I'll have to trim them down because I know that they're probably like 30-minute long videos, so they'll be multi-part, and then I'll make them into a playlist so that you can listen to them or watch them coherently. But I'm also going to be basically recording fresh, shorter videos, because the difference between when those videos were recorded versus me doing them now is obviously I've got all of my ideas, a little bit more figured out then, and I was brainstorming the ideas back then, versus I've taken the time to figure out how would they work, how would you make them work. So all in all, this is basically the part 1 introduction video to how to make the perfect all-in-one regions game to where every Pokemon fan would be happy. There's a lot of this is different sub-communities. You got the Gen 1ers, you got the fairies are rubbish, you've got the community, you've got the ones that are okay with that, you've got the EVs or IVs, or the competitive Pokemon trainers. And how would you make a Pokemon game that satisfies everybody? And these are the ideas that I'm going to dedicate this new series to, is just talking about them in general. And again, I'm going to try my best to keep them in 10-minute long videos for the sake of my hardware and current limitation capacities. But yeah, all in all, I want to tackle how would you make everybody happy. Because again, I've had way too much time to think about this and refine and tinker each different variation of the perfect all-in-one regions game. And yeah, and again, everyone talks about this every now and then on YouTube, so you can hear the different takes of how it would work and how it wouldn't work. And even the people who talk about how this is literally impossible and have the absolute this will not work ever way of looking at it, and they have 200% valid evidence that backs it up, they still give basically a solid counter argument to add to the brainstorming of how to make it work. How do we avoid these issues that these people bring up? How do you make it work the best? So yeah, taking everything into consideration, here's the I guess you could say prologue of all of that statement. So here is how you make the perfect all-in-one regions Pokemon game. And I will also, in a sense, these might be shout-out videos because I have to, give my, tell my sources and everything of how I've come about this information. So that is, again, one of those inadvertent, shout-out type things. So all of that being said, end of this video, and I'm going to basically start recording the next one. So, yeah. Have a good day, Pokemon fans. Hopefully this can be a fun and exciting journey that we are about to go on in order to be the very best that we can ever, be and all that. Sorry, I'm a little exhausted. How are we going to make the best all-in-one regions game that there ever could be, ever was, and ever will be? So, this is Mike Kennedy, signing off.